You're listening to the Weekly Waltz with Jimmy Byrne.
Greetings, music geeks, audiophiles, and juggalos. My name is Jimmy, and you are listening to the Weekly Waltz, episode 11. I am here with my friend Evhen Crooke.
How's it going?
And we got an awesome lineup of songs for you guys here today, including one from his band. We're going to start things off with some Jonathan Young with his Disney cover of Circle of Life from The Lion King. He just released a Disney album recently with a whole bunch of covers. He's been doing a lot of stuff on YouTube, making YouTube music videos of Disney covers and different, pop covers and stuff. We are going to hear his rendition of Circle of Life first off. Then we're going to go into the Twin Cities folk band, the Maine North, and they have a song called Savannah from their album By a String, which was released in 2014, so it'll be a good one to hear that. We're going to get into Crook and the Coppers with Dirty Words, the title track, right, from the album. And when is that album going to be released, by the way?
We are hoping to do it early 2015 here.
Okay.
And we're kind of discussing exactly how we want to release it now. So it's going to probably be a bit of an extended release.
Sure, yeah, so it's still kind of in the works.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I heard a little bit of what you sent me, and I'm definitely excited to hear the whole thing. And we're going to top things off with the Chicago rapper Kid Rager. He has a hip-hop track called Hypocritic State of Mind, which is actually a remix from Hopsin, and he has a song called Ill Mind of Hopsin 5, and it's just kind of like a rant rap thing. We'll get into how it's kind of taken from that track later on, but wow, here we are, episode 11. We're back into it.
So glad you're back into it, man.
All right, cool. Well, as always, whenever I have a guest on the show, I like to ask them their favorite color. So what is your favorite color, Evhen?
It bounces between green and blue.
Green and blue, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that seems to be a pretty popular,
yeah.
Cool, man. Well, why don't we get straight into the first song from Jonathan Young. It's time for 90s kid nostalgia to come back.
Oh, I love this stuff.
Getting
man.
into rock cover of The Circle of Life from The Lion King. So here we go with Jonathan Young.
No se cuenya mama si baba gunyame no se cuenya mama si baba gunya mama hagara gunyama no gunyama stepped into the sun. There is more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. There is far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found. With the sun rolling high, the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round. It's the circle of life, and it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and love.
The Weekly Waltz.
All right, that was Jonathan Young with Circle of Life from his album Young Does Disney, which was released electronically on December 1st. And you can also get hard copies of his album, I believe, if you go to his website, which I will announce at the end of the show. We played one of his songs last series, which would have been episode, 7 or something, 7, 8, one of those episodes, one of the later ones. We played his song Talking About Love, and I mean, he's a good friend of mine, so I mean, I feel kind of biased, but I think that he's like a really good songwriter, and this cover just kind of goes to show how much further he can take his abilities just with producing, with arranging all of those different instruments and vocal harmonies and everything like that.
Yeah, definitely. I was really, really into his, take on it. Really made it just, well, for one thing, he's just an awesome singer, and I'm a singer. I love just really super powerful vocals, and that drew me in right away. And yeah, it was arranged beautifully and just, was really driving, really. I was excited the whole time moving around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what captivated me right away was kind of just the opening harmonization of the vocals, just the way that he arranged those and the way that they all kind of stacked on top of each other was really cool. And I think it kind of emulated the original Disney track really nicely.
Definitely. It was true to it, but it was definitely convincing.
Exactly, it had a dash of Jonathan Young in there.
Yeah,
too.
for sure. I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, being it from The Lion King, there's it just gave me chills halfway through just with the nostalgia factor of it.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because every '90s kid listening right now is just shitting their pants.
Yeah, I know. It's I love this stuff.
But yeah, so I mean, The Lion King is just a classic for all those '90s kids.
And even if you're not a '90s kid,
right? I mean, yeah, it's just a great song overall. But yeah, I mean, he's really well known on YouTube, obviously, like I said before, for doing his Disney rock covers and different covers of pop songs. But I'd say that out of the whole album that he just put together of all these covers, that I'd say this one takes the cake for me. And not to mention, it's the song that opens up the entire album, which completely matches the placement that The Lion King did of this song, which is right in the beginning.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Right, obviously. You have to open up with this song.
Oh,
All right, well, we're going to move on along into the latest in music news this week. There's been a lot that's happened. Obviously, we took a 2-month break, so there's a lot of news that has happened and kind of floated around in that period, but we like to try to keep things as current as possible. Here's what we got. The Killers released their newest Christmas song this year called Joel the Lump of Coal, and that features Jimmy Kimmel. It was released 2 weeks ago on December 1st. And this is their 7th Christmas song. The first one was debuted in 2006. And if you guys don't know at home, the Killers they keep putting out a new Christmas song every single year. They write this song together. They usually get a celebrity to do it with them, and then they just record it. And every single every amount of proceeds that come in for that song goes to the Red campaign. For AIDS research and everything like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this song, Joel the Lump of Coal, it's kind of like a comedy-ish song, because I mean Jimmy Kimmel's on it, and it's kind of it's got kind of a lighthearted sound. Have you heard it at all?
I have not, actually. No. This is the first time hearing about it.
Yeah, it's actually it's pretty good. I mean, I like the recording of it, and I like just the kind of lighthearted comedy of it, and the fact that the Killers are behind it is pretty cool.
I love the Killers. I love the Killers.
Yeah, obviously. And then throughout the entire music video, actually, they have the sequence where they're all in the studio, they're writing the song. Jimmy Kimmel enters in, he hands them out all ugly Christmas sweaters to put on, and they all wear them throughout the entire music video. And then Jimmy Kimmel has this crazy suggestion of okay, well, what if we write this song that's that the lyrics say, and the players are gonna play, and the haters are gonna hate, and then the lead singer of the Killers is just standing there it's already a song.
It's kind of been done.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but please go listen to that if you haven't yet. It's
I'm going to do that. I'm gonna go stop at a thrift store, pick up an ugly Christmas sweater.
Right, obviously, and then you got to get that song.
Exactly.
Joel the Lump of Coal. Go grab it. Like I said, all proceeds are being donated to the Red campaign supporting AIDS research. Second up, legendary horns and saxophone player Bobby Keys passed away on December 2nd. He had played with several bands and touring acts throughout his entire life and career, but most notably, he was the saxophonist for the Rolling Stones and appeared on a number of their records as well. And you can hear us playing on their studio recordings and songs like Brown Sugar and a lot of other ones, as well as many recorded live performances, because he was on the road with them a lot. He was 70 years old when he passed away, and after his passing, Keith Richards actually responded to the news with a note that read, "Bobby, I have lost the largest pal in the world, and I can't express the sense of sadness I feel. Although Bobby would have told me to cheer up. My condolences to all that knew him and all his love of music." So it's a sad thing whenever like one of those old rockers passes away.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my upbringing musically was very heavily classic rock induced. I grew up with Beatles, Rolling Stones, Zeppelin, everything like that. And
totally.
you know, and recently, I mean, I've been hearing here and there of like all these older musicians who, you know, have just kind of been passing away one after the other.
It's really, you know, in the last year, I've really been noticing at least ones that I've personally been attached to.
Yeah.
You know, like last year, the big one for me was Ray from the Doors. You know, that was
that was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was just hard on me personally, and you know,
Yeah.
this one, and you know, personally, I didn't necessarily realize who Bobby was when I first heard the name, and then I kind of did a little research and then went back and started listening to his music, you know, and I heard the news, and it's like, oh man, all of these riffs are so classic, and they just, you know, really were a part of my...
Exactly,
you know,
yeah, obviously. And actually, I actually had kind of like a different kind of connection with him personally too, just because... not only just through the Rolling Stones music, because I obviously listened to that a lot growing up, but when I was in high school, me and my friend actually got to go to this. It was like a local venue in the area that just did like local musicians, and there was this local band who they were a tribute band basically, and they would do an entire set as one certain band. So they'd have a Led Zeppelin night, they'd have like a Beatles night, a Rolling Stones night, and this particular night was a Rolling Stones night, and who would they have as a special guest but Bobby Keys?
Oh my god.
They had him on stage throughout the entire set, and he played, and I got to see this from like 20 feet away.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, and I was like, wow, this guy is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
So...
That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, it was just a really cool thing to see live, and then, so that, I mean, just that experience alone just kind of made this news that I heard on December 1st was just like,
that much
too
more
bad.
heavy.
Yeah, but, yeah.
But he's still rocking with us.
Oh, yeah, obviously, his music lives on in all of us, just as Ray of the Doors and every other musician. But yeah, it's still a tough thing. Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters aired their final episode of the brief HBO series Sonic Highways on December 6th. The last episode was centralized around New York City, and the band, of course, played a show in New York City the night before on the 5th at the Irving Plaza Music Hall. And New York City was the 8th and final city featured on the series, which, if you don't already know, documents the band as they traveled to these 8 cities and recorded one song per city for their 10th anniversary album, Sonic Highways. And the other cities that they visited were Chicago, Washington, D.C., Nashville, Austin, Los Angeles, New Orleans, and Seattle. And Sonic Highways, the album, was released on November 10th, and I would highly recommend grabbing a copy while you can, because the Foo Fighters are great, and I listened to the my mom bought me a copy of the album a couple weeks ago for a Christmas gift, and just listening through, I mean, with, like, I had seen a few of the episodes of the series, and I really liked it.
It blows me away, you know, it really puts Dave Grohl as a songwriter, you know, into
yeah.
It's amazing, you know, he's like, okay, not many people can really just say, here's material, I'm going to turn it into a song.
Very true.
You know, right now, it just blew me away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely
did
respect,
that. You know, for him, as if I didn't have enough for him. Right, you know?
Right, exactly. I mean, don't we all?
Yeah.
But yeah, go grab a copy of Sonic Highways. It's full of some great stuff. Yeah, that's about all I got here in the way of news. So we're going to transition straight into our second song.
Sweet.
And this is from the Twin Cities folk band called the Maine North. And this is their song Savannah. And Savannah was from their album called By a String, which was released in 2014. You can go and grab a copy of that at the links that I'll provide at the end of the show. But yeah, this song is called Savannah. So why don't we transition straight into Savannah from the May North?
Soon. In the sky there's a chilly gray moon. And that north wind, it bites the skin, and the snow, she's coming on soon. But I know there's blue waters in Savannah, red dirt hills that stay warm all through the night. Seems as though time then moves a little slower, and I think the South is calling my name. And in the fields of grass the sways, but the icy path holds my gaze. You used to walk these paths with me, snowy footprints of memory. But I know there's blue waters in Savannah, red dirt hills that stay warm all through the night. Seems as though time moves a little slower, and I think the South is calling my name. The cold thickens in blood, they say. There's gotta be some other way to get tough, to measure up, or just find some meaning in this place. But I know there's blue waters in Savannah, red dirt hills that stay warm all through the night. Seems as though time then moves a little slower, and I think the South is calling my name.
The Weekly Waltz.
All right, that was a little cool little banjo outro there.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Well, that was the May North, once again, with Savannah from By a String, which was released in 2014, sometime this year. Yeah, it was a nice little, kind of a slower, mellow folk song.
Oh, yeah, I come from that stuff. That's, the first songs I ever kind of wrote were all about the, just the melody, the lyrics. I love that stuff. Grew up on Neil Young. That kind
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a nice song to listen to. Just just because of the fact that it has such like a mellow and slow kind of mood and instrumentation that you can just kind of take some time to relax.
For sure.
And obviously, like, it has a lot of you hear a lot of that southern folky influence in
but
it.
it kind of keeps moving, and
Right,
that's,
exactly.
That's the mark of a good folk band, is if they can really hold you through the entire song.
Exactly. Yeah, and at the beginning of the song, the guitars played off of each other, and the strumming provided a really nice rhythmic support to the vocals. It really drew my attention more towards the instrumental side of things, I think, in terms of this song. Because in a lot of other songs, I'll be listening to like mainly like vocals, or like if there's a lead guitar line or something like that. But through this song, just like the strumming of the guitar just kind of provided a nice little, that rhythmic support, and it kind of made me listen to the instruments, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, in terms of production, I would have maybe liked to have heard a little more like space or like room inside of the mix or something like that, or like reverb effects, or like
kind of more like it was
around,
a big band around one big microphone, something like
right,
that.
exactly.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, but
in the room with
especially on like the rhythmic instruments and stuff. But other than that, I thought it sounded really well recorded.
I thought it was
really
great.
cool.
It's definitely that. Like John Mayer took the blues and made it pop. This is kind of taking that folk and bringing that pop sort of placement into
exactly.
it. And it's really awesome for people who are really into that genre to really like who want to dissect it and like, oh man, I love the the bass on this kind of thing. Man,
yeah,
I just wanna get in on that.
Exactly. Yeah, and I've also like obviously it's become a lot more of a present thing in the pop music industry these days. Is like a lot of these folk bands like Mumford and Sons or like someone like that. They're taking those folk roots and bringing them back to pop music, which I think is really cool, and like kind of a nice break from the just your regular candy-coated pop music.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, songwriting wise, I thought it had a really nice structure. The lead vocal and harmony line sat really nicely with each other. That male vocalist and the female vocalist, they were really well. They sat really well together, I guess.
Oh yeah, they were
good singers.
Really nice together. It's hard to find people that sound good.
Right.
With,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Especially when you're like me and have just a really abrasive voice.
All right. Now we're going to move into our game. The theme of our game this week is the Crossroad Collaborations Trivia. And basically, I'm going to ask you 10 questions about artists. Artists obviously sometimes will collaborate with other artists outside of the genre that they normally work in. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes it sucks.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask you questions about some of these performances, whether they're recorded or live or something like that.
Okay.
And you're going to have to guess who it was out of two people that teamed up with this other artist.
Okay.
And if you get 6 or more correct out of 10, you win a weekly Waltz sticker.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want that weekly Waltz sticker. Let's
All right,
do it.
well, go for it. Number 1. At the 2001 Grammy Awards, Eminem took the stage and performed his song Stan alongside whom? Was it Elton John or Sir Paul McCartney?
Sir Paul McCartney.
Elton John.
Really?
Yep.
Oh man, that's a bad start. All right, let's see if I can
No worries.
redeem myself.
There's plenty of time for you to there's plenty of time for you to catch up. Number 2. In 2011, Snoop Dogg appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman and performed his song Superman with who? Was it Sting or Willie Nelson?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Sting. That's my safe guess here. Am I wrong
Willie
again?
Nelson.
Oh, I'm so terrible at this.
I'm so sorry.
So bad at this.
It's all right.
I need to
It's
get
only
on
2.
I need to get on YouTube and check more of this stuff out.
Or you could just cheat.
All right, I could just cheat.
Here we go with number 3. You got plenty of time to catch up. No worries. A little over a month ago, on November 6th on Conan, the Flaming Lips took the stage to cover the Beatles' A Day in the Life with who? Was it George Clinton or Miley Cyrus?
Man, I don't watch Conan so much, but I really hope it was George Clinton. That'd be sweet. Was it? But it's probably, is it? It wasn't, was it? No. I'm just gonna go with George Clinton because that would be freaking sweet. But
that was Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. See, I was hoping so much, and
That's
the
all
world
right.
let me down a little bit.
That's all right. You just have to get every single one correct.
Every
from
single
this
one
point
from
on.
this point. I'm probably going to be the first one to not get any of these. Any questions
No
right
worries.
in your game here.
In 2006, who recorded and made a music video covering the hit U2 song One with the band themselves? Was it Mary J. Blige or Justin Timberlake?
I am just losing faith in my pop culture knowledge right now. But I'm going to say JT. Just because
Mary J. Blige.
Jesus Christ.
Number 5, who did Paul McCartney hit the stage with to perform Ebony and Ivory with in 2010 at the White House? Was it Lou Reed or Stevie Wonder?
That's Stevie Wonder.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is one.
Okay.
One correct.
One correct.
You can at least keep your dignity.
Okay, well, I'm still going to probably have to pick up that weekly Waltz sticker somewhere. You're going to have to tell me where I can find one.
All right, number 6. Who else did Paul McCartney team up with in 2012 to write, record, and perform a song with? Was it the remaining members of the Ramones or the remaining members of Nirvana?
I'm going to go with, again, I don't know, but probably with Nirvana. Maybe?
That's correct.
Awesome.
That's 2. Okay, so number 7. I have used this question before in a game. Don't hate me, but it fits the game really well, so I'm going to use it again.
Let's do it.
So who in 2011 teamed up with electronic producer Skrillex to record a song specifically for a project that was meant to team up members of 2 completely different styles of music for a collaboration project? Was it the remaining members of The Doors or the remaining members of Led Zeppelin?
Jesus, I'm a really big Doors fan, so if I get this one wrong, and I don't remember necessarily hearing about it, so, but I probably am wrong, and I'll have something cool to check out when I get home. Oh, man.
The Doors?
Yeah.
You going with it? That's correct. That's
Cool.
3.
Sweet.
Number 8. Which well-known musician stepped onto the Metallica stage in 2009 and spawned a collaboration project with the band shortly afterwards? Was it Lou Reed or Justin Bieber?
Man, I need to like start paying attention more, because these things are all awesome, and I just I've got no idea.
Well, I mean, I feel like you could even go with common sense for this one.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
Yeah, I mean.
Would Metallica do a project?
No,
with
they
Lou Reed or
absolutely would not do one with Justin Bieber, but like I'm just commenting on the fact that I need to get back into
That's
life.
all right. Hey, plenty of time.
But yeah.
Plenty of time.
Oh, totally.
You're going with Lou Reed?
Oh, yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that was 4 correct. We're going to go on to number 9. Who joined the Steve Miller Band on stage in Nashville for the CMT Crossroads performance and joined the band playing hit songs from both artists? Was it Kenny Chesney or Taylor Swift?
Was it T Swift?
It was Kenny
Chesney.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah. See, I gotta get back into the swing of things.
Number 10. Finally, to sum up, which big name horns player did Weezer have on stage to accompany them through their song "I'm Your Daddy" in 2009? Was it Trombone Shorty or Kenny G?
Kenny G.
Correct.
Awesome.
That's 5 correct. So you got half right. You know what? I'm just gonna say screw it, and I'm gonna give you a sticker anyway.
That's awesome.
So here,
Thank you,
I'll
man.
Go get it.
Oh, sweet. In all seriousness, though, I am very disappointed in my performance here today. I'm gonna
You're good.
go home and study.
You're all good. Plenty of time to go and check out all of those collaboration projects.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
All right. Well, that sums up our game today. Did you have fun?
I had so much fun.
Cool. All right. So now it's time to go into our third song, which happens to be by this guy over here, Evhen Crooke,
right.
and his band Crooke and the Cops. So on Facebook, I saw that it changed to Crooke.
It has, yes.
Is
See, we are sort of kind of moving into change. Well, we are. We've decided, and there's a couple of different reasons why that is. The biggest one being we have never played a show, and this is completely true. We've never played a show where we've showed up and the club owner or whoever, you know, our contact was, hasn't, like, you know, had to read the name like 6 times before they pronounced it right.
Okay.
And, you know, we're all like, oh, this is great, clever name, I love it. And, but no one has been able to, you know, for some reason, we don't spell it funny, other than the E at the end, but, like, you know, we can't help that, that's my name.
Right.
And then, but yeah, like, so we've decided that was the big one. The other, and, you know, the band has kind of felt like, I just like that we all call it Crooke anyway when we're talking, you know, and everyone that comes to our shows calls them Crooke shows and like that kind of thing. And then when we were taking the pictures for the album cover, we have this one picture where it's kind of like graffiti and lipstick on the wall. Okay. And I didn't realize, for one, how expensive lipstick is. Ladies, that is like, wow. Yeah. And two, it takes a lot to show up on a brick wall.
Right.
And so we ran out of lipstick, 2 tubes of lipstick, by the time we had written out Crooke. And we didn't really want to go and run out and grab another one because we knew we had one left and we didn't want to, you know, we knew we weren't going to write out And the Coppers with this one tube left. So I kind of, you know, took a look at it and finally decided, okay, yeah, we can. I like the idea of calling it Crooke. So that's kind of, you know.
I gotcha.
All right, all of these different universal kind of signs.
All right, so I'll stick with the transitional name from here on out. We're gonna hear from Crooke.
Yes.
And their song "Dirty Words" from the album "Dirty Words."
Dirty Words.
Which is going to be released soon, and I'll provide all of your links at the end of the show for everyone to go and check that out. And please do. This is a really good song, if I do say so myself.
Thank you, sir.
So here we go with Crooke and Dirty Words.
On my tongue and smoky air fills my lungs. I can't stop the shaking that is overtaking me. I ain't got no peace of mind. It seems I lost it somewhere far behind, between Westlake and where you stuck that stake in me. Well, sometimes the things that you do make so much sense, but baby, this does not. Into my thighs, and even though I'm walking, I can still hear you talking to me. Well, I don't know where we went wrong. Maybe by the time that I'm finished this song, I'll realize the answer and be rid of this cancer you gave me. Well, sometimes the things that you do make so much sense, but baby, this does not. Since you last looked at me, and 2 since my last sleep, 3 since he can't know me, and it's time for my retreat. Well, it's been a day since you last looked at me, and 2 since my last sleep, 3 since he can't know me, and it's time for my retreat. Well, it's been a day since you last looked at me, and 2 since my last sleep, 3 since he can't know me, and it's time for my
All right, that was Crooke and that was Crooke.
Crooke. That was Crooke.
And Dirty Words from Dirty Words, which the album will be released soon.
Very soon.
Yeah, man, that was a really cool song. I mean, I thought throughout the entire thing, I mean, production-wise, there were really heavy-hitting drums throughout the entire song, and all the instruments filled up a lot of space. Really cool. But I think that this thing that stood out to me the most was your vocal performance, because I mean that it got really like soulful and like gritty at those really high energy parts. So I thought that was really cool.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. And so did you record this song like with the full band, or were these instruments mostly you?
Oh, full band. You
Full
know,
band,
man,
okay.
I would be completely lost if it wasn't for the guys in my band, too. You know, I can kind of write a song and I can fake my way on a guitar, but, you know, I sort of have these weird mistakes, and then Brett, the bass player, is able to kind of, you know, somehow understand me and figure out how you know, like where I was kind of going and express that musically to the other guys, and then it's just, yeah, it's totally
Right.
it's totally all of them. But yeah, I love playing with the guys that I play with, because like I said, without them I'd be totally just
Sure.
on my ass.
Right, yeah, and I mean, yeah, there's definitely something to be said about just the dynamic of working with a band, because like everyone has something to contribute, and if somebody is like so focused on the instrument that they're playing, they're so focused on like being really good at writing on that instrument or something like that, or like figuring out little licks here and there, they can have ways of like, you know, even if they're not the initial songwriter of that song, they can have ways of saying, hey, like I have something, yeah, like this could be cool to contribute to this song, and then that like it totally like just ends up driving the entire song or something like that. So there's a lot to say for like band dynamics working like that. The song itself, the vibe had a lot of like kind of like a classic soul rock-ish vibe. I mean, it reminded me of like kind of like a Joe Cocker song almost.
Oh man, that is a huge compliment.
No
Love
worries.
that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really rock and roll overall, but obviously performed in a way that there was a lot of soul to it. So you say that you guys are in the process of making your album now. Is that like almost close to completion? Do you think?
Basically, we had a couple of ideas as to the way it was gonna kind of, you know, be dropped. And a couple of those ways kind of sort of fell through, you know, as life, you know, life happens and all that kind of stuff. But the good news is we've got a completed album out of it. Woo. And so we've got the album completely done, ready to go. We are working on basically just putting the order out for the physical copy, and we're gonna have that available right away. Is the plan as of now? You know, once we get the physical copies, but then to kind of do, you know, sort of do the marriage between the, you know, album release, which everyone in the band is really, you know, we love listening to an album all the way through,
right.
You know, so that kind of is important for us to get it all out there, so the people who would really want to digest it all at once can have that option,
right.
But then also to just kind of keep it in people's minds and do that kind of singles extended release kind of thing. We're starting to get into the YouTube, you know, doing that kind of thing.
The
YouTube, and we are planning on probably doing like a weekly, you know, 10-week release, since the album is going to be 10 songs, and do kind of a haphazard, you know, sort of, well, not so haphazard. We've got a lot of talent in the house that we're living in, so we're going to put together a decent, you know, one take with a good YouTube video attached to it, and then have the single then be downloadable, you know? So it'll be like a single is released, you can get the whole thing physically and we'll ship it to you. It's the, you know, or you can buy it from us at our shows, that kind of thing, during this 10-week period. But then over the 10 weeks having it, you know, kind of be then downloadable, each song downloadable, you know, individually.
I gotcha. Yeah. That's a really cool concept. I like the idea of that. So obviously you are the front man of this band. I mean, your name is the band. So you do, I'm assuming here, you do write most of the songs for the
Yeah,
songs,
I write
right?
the lyrics. I
Okay.
generally will come out. First off, we started. It all kind of came together with me and Brett. We sort of met, and I had a couple of songs I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with, and Brett was sort of the motivation. Like, we've got the stuff to put it together. This is good enough
Right.
stuff that we can kind of, it's. I'll put my name on it. Let's do it.
Right, exactly.
And so I had a couple of, like I said, coming from singer-songwritery stuff like Neil Young, some kind of folky, sort of groove-driven stuff, and then Brett sort of took that groove and just, multiplied it by 100%.
Uh-huh.
And we just kind of, at that point, sort of talked about, for one thing, who else are we going to bring into the group, and how, and what kind of sort of vision we want to go with. For the sound, and we just came up. We got just a bunch of awesome people, and really the songs are completely different from when they were at the beginning. So, yeah, I wrote the lyrics, couple of chords, some of the grooves sort of stayed, but I would say maybe about 20% of the time I come with a song that's like in its just about final form without the band underneath it.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you were kind of in the beginning stages of that, I guess, just kind of like working on your craft, and like, I guess, just working on your instrument, or like starting out doing songwriting, did you feel like do you feel like you were trying? Did you feel like you kind of started off the process wanting to write your own songs, or did you mostly feel like you kind of played songs by some of your influences growing up?
Well, obviously influences growing up, everything that I've listened to and loved has really been a big influence into my writing style and that kind of thing. But basically, I became a writer out of necessity.
Okay.
Like, I've always played in bands with just complete monsters. I was very fortunate, to always have some people to play with that were just way better than me, and that were great songwriters. And I've always been really interested in the songwriting process, coming up through high school, trying it a little bit on my own, really not doing anything with it, mostly because I wasn't really trying to, write. I had all these great people writing,
Right.
good songs that I could play with, and that kind of thing. And then I eventually got to a point where it was like, well, I'm not playing with anyone immediately that is really writing any great songs, but I don't necessarily want to just get comfortable and start playing covers for a year before I start, doing that kind of stuff. So it was just like, let's take a stab at it on my own. And Dry Bones, which is one of the songs on the album here, is the first song that I really just sat down on my own and really just wrote. And so it's cool. This is kind of the first whack at my at songwriting. These are the first, just all Evhen originals. And
Cool.
so I can write songs. It's like, it's exciting, and it's a little nerve-wracking because it is the first display, of it all. But
Sure.
so I guess you guys are the judges. Am I a songwriter or not?
You be the judge.
We'll see.
Well, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the people who eat up this album will definitely.
Let's hope they eat it up.
I think that they'll take it really nicely. It's a really good bunch of songs, if I do say so myself.
Oh, thank you, man.
And finally, I mean, would you, let's say like a kid or like somebody who is aspiring to be a songwriter or something like that came up to you, what kind of advice would you have for them? Would you say?
The phrase "fake it till you make it" has just been coming up more and more in my life recently, and yeah, just don't be afraid of blatantly ripping off.
Sure.
That's like I said, Dry Bones. I'm not going to say exactly who I blatantly ripped off because, well, for one thing, it's probably pretty obvious. But, like everyone starts off totally, not necessarily unoriginal, but you got to be okay with being derivative.
Sure.
And you're going to be, even if you are doing a cover or something, every time you're going to be blown away listening back at how much of your own self you put into it. So
Sure.
just be okay with being unoriginal initially. Don't be super critical of yourself, and just totally own everything. Own everything.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice. All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Evan.
Oh, thanks
I really
for having
appreciate
me,
it.
man.
We're gonna sum up the show here with a hip hop artist from the Chicagoland area who goes by the name of Kid Rager. He's on SoundCloud, and he remixed a song from Hopsin, which was called Ill Mind of Hopsin 5, and he turned it into his own song called Hypocritic State of Mind. And the original song from Hopsin, actually, I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but the original song from Hopsin was written kind of about just the general mindset of the new generation of teenagers and young adults, and how a lot of them just have this general mindset of sitting around waiting for success to come to them while all they do is play video games, eat junk food, and stuff like that. And so Hopsin goes in, raps about, this is not the way to live your life. You got to go and try to work for the things that you do. And so Kid Rager took this and he turned it into his own thing. So let's take a listen to that.
All right.
Here we go with Kid Rager and Hypocritic State of Mind.
Fucking hate rap, and if I get on the radio, well, I'm doing something wrong, so please don't play me though. Nothing but hype, misleading our generation and painting our world with pathological decorations. We're impatient, it's clear that we can't wait. Everybody's sick with something that'll fill your mind with hate. I've been vacating my mind to avoid all these sad dates, and killing myself by sleeping like every blunt is a steak. Coughing till I'm in a coffin and rest in peace at a wake. Then burn my body on a boat and send me out on a lake. And if that is the case, I might be remembered as great, instead of one who just lived a life following all these fakes. It's not clear to see the truth, and you are blinded by our youth and start acting like another Waka Flocka all in the booth. I mean, what's the use in poisoning little dudes when they look up to your songs and grow up and become confused? You've been brainwashed by a false life used to always seeing, but people partying acting harder than human. But really the only people in their party are their demons. Every time they turn the fuck up, it's to prevent them from screaming. Life sucks, but you gotta try. Man, I bet you fucking with it. This situation where's do or die, rather than complain about how you maybe could lose an eye from taking a shot at your goals, but your aim's not that high. You always stay green with envy, no wonder why you see low. Instead of reaching for the top, you're picking crumbs off the flow. Don't got enough to pack a bowl. Is this enough to solve your role? Are you content on becoming someone who lost control? From doing all the things that your parents would not condone? Hell, I did it all too. That is why I put it in the song. Used to wake and bake no matter how late when I had a bone. And stop coughing, now my skin is about the same as my lung. But you're on another journey to get laid back like a gurney, cause all of the stress has made you uptight from chronic worries. As though within your self-esteem, man, you ain't feeling worthy to educate the youth since you're puffing clouds like you're Kirby. The only thing you ever try to face is in your hands, and you're blowing smoke at the pigs like a wolf, going ham. But in the end, you gotta realize that you're just a man and not the guy upstairs riding the bigger plane. But you gotta remember that God built you in his image and gave you the power to create anything you envision. Succumbing to my demons would always be my decision, from negativity filling my head with bad intentions. I open up, but I swear he is bad to listen, so it's up to me to make it happen, can depend on wishing. Every morning I was rapping, waking, baking in the kitchen, high off all the music I was addict, just getting my fix in. Life is supposed to be hard, and if it were easy, we wouldn't put in the work to be someone others believe in. When you're knocked off your feet, that's just a reason to keep on breathing. Chase your dreams and show the world what you're capable of achieving. And yet you wonder why positive thoughts always seem to be leaving like someone afraid to get caught. Truth in the cell with cabin fever, no choice but to take a walk. And though you fear your demons lurking up the block waiting to talk. I don't know why my parents act like cannabis is cancerous, but if you were to ask me, I swear that is what the answer is. Hit the bong a couple times and they count both the larynxes of all the people who sort they smash the bowl and go damage it. Now the world's blown, kind of like Onamic. Did you try to get a grip, but you can't, not even handle it. Bought another switch and now it's time to go dismantle it and get this motherfucker burning hotter than a candle is. Your lifestyle's made you a product of habit, thinking when I become an addict and my life problematic. But the draft of a fanatic can really be so fantastic. I just put that in my rapping, so there's no problem, I'm at it. Now I'm not telling children stories of Cleaver to Peter Rabbit. It's It's a sick mentality that my state of mind is nowhere. Get the gat, no robbing banks. The Joker turns into Batman. Pussy and no thoughts run amok like I really need a casket. I've been on my grind doing 180s on flatland to free the stress when I'm too tense and have to bring some slack. Yeah, bombing hills by Bay City coasting like I'm the captain. And floating with some G's like the smoke is a chain reaction. How can you get to where you want if you never prepare? When you focus on the present, nothing seems fair. Another toe waiting to hit till you can no longer bear. Do what's right and easy like your morals have some wear and tear. I became a product, environment, or result of habit. Either way you need an iron grip, so reach the top and grab it. Yeah, you do. Otherwise, you really just might lose. So, which one are you? Can you not choose? Are there too many brain cells fried like fries and fast food? Getting cocky, you're the shit. Well, that's some shit I passed through. Y'all like this soda, read the track lyrics hollow like Max dude. If you're in my lane, get laughed and turn it into some fast food. If I'm not the first with the words verse, I'll be the last fool to say he was a shit and go work on my attitude. I'll grab a pass and take my ass back to class to learn at school. I've been trying to break the chain with the weakest link in our world, and over the years I think I am finally getting through. But my tendencies are me acting like I am in high school, elevating my location, increasing my altitude. But don't forget my education, I raise my aptitude for practicing what I love and just doing the things I do. I don't need to fill my life a green to replace all the blues, but if you went on my rim, you see the evidence and clues. A murder up on the track right after the weed and bruise. I went in 7th of rap and left medical residue. It's like I'm up on a raft, no hope of getting rescued, so I go with the flow and develop a similar tune. Yeah, that's hypocrites. Yeah, that's what we all can be. Most do not even see it coming when it's not happening to you, so it's on a track for them all to see. Please.
The Weekly Waltz, yeah.
Alright, that was Kid Rager with Hypocritic State of Mind, his remix from Hobson's Ill Mind of Hobson 5. I thought that was a really cool song. There's a lot of lyrics and just a whole lot of information jam-packed into it, and he had a lot to say.
I love that stuff. That's my kind of rap, you know? Something that really just, that really holds me, because, I love beats, and I love, that kind of, I love hip-hop in general, but, man, what really draws me in is someone who can just, who can really just, take a mic and just force everything they want to down your throat.
Right,
exactly.
like
that's my kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, Kid Rager had like some really good flow on this song.
Serious
like he
totally.
he definitely knew what he was doing. It's very obvious. And actually, from what I'm seeing on his SoundCloud page, it didn't actually count out the number of words, but according to the info on his SoundCloud page, throughout this entire rap, there were more than 1,200 words incorporated into the entire
insane
song. So yeah, he obviously had a lot on his mind. He had a lot to say.
Yeah,
but I think he articulated it really well, and a really cool beat behind it too. Really well produced, and just really cool remix. I enjoyed it.
Definitely.
So, well, yeah, it's about that time at the end of the show here. I'm sorry, we have to get going here, Evan. But it was great having you on the show, like I said before.
Great to be here.
So let's run through the list one more time of all the artists that we heard today, and I'll give you links as to where you can go and hear them. First, we heard from Jonathan Young and his Disney cover of Circle of Life from the album Young Does Disney, which was released on December 1st. You can go and check that out at jonathanyoungmusic.com, facebook.com/jonathanyoungmusic, soundcloud.com/jonathan-young-music, youtube.com/user/jonathanyoungmusic, and jonathanyoung.bandcamp.com.
Oh man, a bunch of my friends' email are going to be blown up with these guys.
Sweet. The Main North was the second song we heard from, the folk band from the Twin Cities. They released their album By a String sometime this year. You can go and check out their song Savannah from that and all the other songs at themainnorth.com, bit.ly/themainnorth Facebook for their Facebook page, soundcloud.com/themainnorth, and youtube.com/user/mainnorthmusic. Oh, and also themainnorth.bandcamp.com for their Bandcamp page. Third up, Crooke. Go and check them out at...
Check it out. Like us on Facebook.
Facebook.com/Crooke and the Coppers. SoundCloud.com/Crooke and the Coppers. bit.ly/Crooke YouTube. I made that myself. crookeandthecoppers.bandcamp.com.
Love it.
Kid Rager, you can check out his song Hypocritic State of Mind and the rest of his mixtape that he put out at his SoundCloud page at soundcloud.com/KidRager. And obviously go and check out all of my Weekly Waltz stuff. I have a website now, so go and check that out at theweeklywaltz.com. Go check out my iTunes at bit.ly/tww-iTunes, facebook.com/theweeklywaltz, soundcloud.com/theweeklywaltz, youtube.com/user/theweeklywaltz. And don't forget, if you have a couple dollars to spare, please donate to the podcast. It's always nice to have
Open your wallets.
generous contributions from all you guys listening at home. I do have to pay to keep this up on the air, so anything
This ain't
helping
free.
out would help. You can do that at bit.ly/tww_donate. Thank you guys all very much for tuning in, and I'll be back next week with 4 new songs, 1 new co-host. Evhen, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Have a wonderfully tastic week. Bye.
See you guys later.